presented by Honda. The Honda Checkered Flag event is back. Get there fast. Leave even faster.
Welcome to Toronto. It is a cloudy, rainy day here in the Big Smoke, and the roof is closed. Joey Votto's had a good return to Toronto. He and Zack Cozart went back-to-back in the first inning yesterday, but Bryce and the Reds need a win. They are 3-3 on this road trip, and they have lost 12 of the last 17 games. The pitching has been the #1 culprit in that record. Take a look at their lineup for this afternoon's ball game. Zack Cozart hitting in that 2 spot. Look at his last 13 games. A .377 average and some big-time production. 2 doubles, 5 home runs, and 13 ribbies. And the cleanup man, the left fielder, Duvall, he too, over his last 13 games, has put up big numbers. He's hit a double and 5 home runs. He's driven in 19 runs in his last 13 games. And today they'll get a look at the right-hander, Mike Bolsinger.
Bolsinger makes his 5th start of the season. Originally selected by the Arizona Diamondbacks in the 15th round in 2010 in the first-year player draft. Spent most of 2015 with the Dodgers. He was acquired last August from the Dodgers for Jesse Chavez. Last time out, Bolsinger worked into the 5th inning. A lot of base runners in that game also, but he had a season-best 2 earned runs despite all 5 leadoff hitters reaching base against him. 4 starts, he's 0-2, looking for that first win this afternoon.
Billy Hamilton, the leadoff man, center fielder. He's had 2 hits in this series. He had an RBI single in the 7th that tied up the game at that time, 4-4. Hamilton is a speedster. You got to keep him off the bases. 2-0 to the leadoff man. Hamilton has been caught stealing just 4 times this season. He leads the majors with 28 stolen bases. Russell Martin threw him out trying to steal 3rd last night.
It'll be hard to throw him out today because he's over at 3rd base in on the grass.
3-0 count. And there's the red-hot Zack Cozart anxiously waiting on deck. Bolsinger, 3 straight balls to Billy Hamilton. And there's a strike. Starting pitchers always do that, and I always wonder why they don't do that on the first pitch.
Yeah, right down the middle, because he knows he's taking 3-0 right there. You know he's going to be ready to swing it right now.
3-1 pitch. Bunts it in the air, and that's over the screen. Hamilton has bunted more in this series than he has all year.
That's right. He doesn't really bunt a lot. Talking to some of the Cincinnati people, they were saying they haven't seen him do that, but he feels like he can get the ball down and leg it out with his great speed. They got some new corners to the infield for the Blue Jays in this game, and Morales and Martin, so it looked like Hamilton was going to pick on him.
Called out on strikes. Bolsinger comes all the way back from a 3-0 count to record the first out of the ball game. Hamilton doesn't believe it was a strike. Well, Pat mentioned the differences in the lineup today. In the outfield, Chris Coglin's in left. Ezekiel Carrera making just his 2nd start in center. Bautista's in right. Martin and Goins on the left side. Travis and Morales on the right side. Luke Maile. A lot of defensive changes today.
Gendry's getting the start over at first base. Justin Smoke has been grinding and playing every day.
Fair ball. Cozart rips that first pitch. Had a tough time getting out of the box, and he'll end up with a long single. I don't know what happened, but he didn't come out of the box very cleanly, and that, usually you would expect that to be a double.
Well, let's see what happens.
He's not running very well.
The ball was right over the bag. Clearly fair down the left field line. Played nicely by Coghlan off that wall in left field to hold him to that single.
Well, left field is Coglin's natural position. That's where he is most comfortable. Here is Joey Votto. Votto and Cozart went back-to-back in the first inning in last night's game. They hit consecutive pitches out of the ballpark off Jay Happ.
Well, you don't see that very often. Joey Votto swinging and missing a ball. Might have the best eye in the National League when it comes to strike zone awareness. That on-base percentage up over 400 again for Votto this year.
Fly ball deep to center. Carrera is back. He's at the track, at the wall. Votto's gone deep for a second straight game. Number 14 for Joey Votto. His third career home run here at Rogers Center.
Well, you said he was starting to feel a little bit more comfortable at his hometown. His first couple of times here, he hadn't had a lot of success, but in this series, that's home run number 2 in this series. That's a curveball that he waited back on nicely. And just like in last night's ball game, drove it out of here to center field to give the Reds another lead.
The Reds have led each of these 3 ball games. That's that curveball that just spins out over the plate. Votto stays back and his head stays down, and then he looks at it and says, I think that one's going to go. For the Reds, they have now homered in 12 straight games. Total of 23 home runs over those 12 games.
Hey, it's a powerful team, especially in the middle of that lineup. They can knock the ball out of the ballpark easily.
Slider off the plate. It's 0-2 to Adam Duvall. One more look at Votto's swing.
Curveball, and he stays back on it. That's his power stroke right there. Center field to left field. He can turn on the ball if he has to.
Breaking ball pulled foul.
Buck, you know, when you're a kid, the coaches tell you keep the eye on the ball. Well, watch Joey Votto's eyes on this ball. He is tracking that thing, and watch it go right down to the baseball and stay down there. He sees the ball off the barrel of the bat. That's why he is such a good hitter. Track that thing with your eyes.
That was a terrific example of that, and he saw it as soon as he connected. He changed his sidelines to high towards center. Tracked it right out of the ballpark.
Yeah, keep your eyes down. Pete Rose was so good at that. I watched him forever, and his eyes would follow that ball right into the catcher's mitt. Joey Votto's the same type of guy. Track that baseball.
That's the 9th game for Votto here at Rogers Center. That's his 3rd career home run. He has 6 RBIs. Upstairs. Blue Jays trying to sweep this series against Cincinnati. That's another foul ball. Last year in the month of May, the Jays went 17-12. With a win today, that would be their 18th win of the month of May. They would have a better month this month than they had last month after a terrible start to the season.
Yeah, a bad start, and the whole idea after a bad start, hey, let's get to 500. If we can get to 500, then we've got 4 months to possibly do something.
Bolsinger thought that was a strike. Now it's 2-2. Well, you can't look ahead to the Yankees 4-game series. That starts tomorrow night. You got to focus on this game. This is a big game for the Blue Jays. Yankees are in town for 4. The Blue Jays have done a good job so far in this series. And there's the strikeout. That slider down and away. Second strikeout for Bolsinger.
Pretty good breaking ball off the plate to pick up the strikeouts. Been tinkering with a cutter. That looks more like a slider. It's got a little bit more depth. The super slow-mo replay is powered by the Samsung QLED, the next innovation in TV. Second strikeout of the inning for Mike Bolsinger.
Eugenio Suarez, the third baseman, will step in. Suarez has just 1 hit in the 2 games so far. He had a single in the 4th inning on Friday night, 1 for 4. He had a couple of walks, couple of strikeouts in last night's game. So he's 1 for 6 in the series.
I like this guy. Early on, he's going to be down on the bottom of that bat, trying to get some extra base power, but then once he gets to 2 strikes, he'll choke up. Try to control that barrel just a little bit more. Control the strikeouts also.
Russell Martin, a nice grab, long throw in time. Russell Martin making his 5th start at third, having no problems whatsoever. But Mike Bolsinger gives up a single to Cozart, and then this 2-run home run to Joey Votto. For Votto, it's career number 235. It comes in his hometown here at Rogers Center. Day off along with Troy Tulowitzki. They've just come back from the disabled list. They're looking at those fire department safety baseball cards, and I'm sure they're having a laugh or two at some of those pictures. But as Jamie mentioned earlier, I remember those cards, and I still have some from my playing days. Let's see, starting lineup for John Gibbons, and Devin Travis filling in for Millar. Top of the order, Kendrys Morales is playing first base this afternoon, and his last 10 games have been very productive. 4 doubles, 3 home runs, a game-winning home run last night in the 8th inning, and Russell Martin, he too swinging the bat very well. Martin has homered in 2 straight games. A .471 average over his 5-game hit streak, and they will take on Tim Adelman.
9th appearance of the season, his 8th straight start for the Reds. One on Friday night in Philadelphia, didn't allow a hit after that first inning. In fact, got stronger as the game went along, retired 21 of the final 23 batters he faced, including 16 straight. He was called up in the middle of April after Brandon Finnegan went on the DL.
Ground ball to Votto. He'll wave off the pitcher and step on the bag. Travis is retired. Well, the Reds are a very good defensive ball club. They've committed just 25 errors this season. Duvall, Hamilton, and Schebler in the outfield. Cozart and Peraza up the middle. Suarez and Votto at the corners. Tucker Barnhart makes his 32nd start of the season behind the plate for Tim Adelman.
It's our first chance to see the Reds in a couple of years, and we've been very impressed with Scott Schebler in right field. He's made some nice catches, showing off some speed in an arm. He's also got a couple of outfield assists this year. He's taken away a couple of hits from the Blue Jays in this series already.
Ezekiel Carrera gets the start in center field. Kevin Pillar gets the day off. Carrera making his 2nd start of the season in center.
Gibby was saying before the ball game, Pillar has played just about every inning of every game except those 2 that he was out because of the suspension. He says he's been grinding every day. He said, I want to get him off his feet for one afternoon.
Plus, you want to free up his mind a little bit. He's going through a little bit of a funk at the plate. Give him a day off to clear his head. Get ready for the Yankees. Carrera with a 2-1 count. Carrera had a big night on Friday night. A 4-hit game. He walked as well. Finished up that game 4 for 5 with 6 plate appearances, and he was a last-minute addition to the lineup.
Nobody hit this morning out on the baseball field. Blue Jays hit in the cages around 11:30 today. Well, this is their first chance to get out here and face some live pitching.
More of a trend around baseball these days. You play an afternoon game after a night game, and even though it's still May, many of the managers give their hitters that BP off. 3-2 pitch. Herrera's going to loop it into right, and that'll get down for a base hit. And that'll bring the red-hot Jose Bautista to the plate. You take a look at what he has done in this month, and it's an impressive accomplishment. His last 19 games, Pat, he's hit nearly 400.
And he's knocked in 19 runs in those last 19 games. Jose's always been the type of hitter that when he gets hot, his home runs will come in bunches, and he's got that ability, that unique ability to carry a ball club. And offensively, he's been carrying this team in the month of May, coming up with some big base hits, some big home runs for the Blue Jays. Here's another chance right here, a home run right here, and we're tied again.
He has flourished in interleague play. He's hitting .447 this season in interleague play. He is 21 for 47, and his 21 hits are the most hits in the majors in interleague action. For his career, he has 47 career home runs in interleague play. That's third among active players.
That just follows the theme, doesn't it? The Blue Jays in interleague play hitting home runs. Blue Jays, if they can hit 4 more home runs in interleague play, they got the Reds, the Pirates, and the Cubs still, that would give them 500 career home runs in interleague play, the most in baseball.
One and one to Bautista. Slow breaking ball for a strike. Adelman is 6'5". He was originally drafted by the Baltimore Orioles out of Georgetown University in 2010. He was a 24th round pick. He grew up in North Carolina. He was born on Staten Island, New York. Bautista lays off. I tell you one thing, Pat, Bautista just does not chase borderline pitches.
And this is their first look at Tim Adelman, so you know that Bautista likes to see a lot of pitches, likes to see what that breaking ball looks like. He was fooled on that first one that he saw. He threw it to him early in the count, and it froze him up.
There goes Carrera. Bautista rips it to left. Carrera's going to motor all the way to third. Here's the throw, not in time. Bautista is swinging it, man. Carrera and Bautista go back-to-back with one out. A couple of singles, and now that'll bring Kendrys Morales to the plate.
Guess right and start that runner on that 2-2 count. They get a fastball, and that ball is hit hard. He creates a lot of backspin when he's swinging like that, so Carrera reads it. It's going to be down. Even a one-hop base hit and bullet to left field. Because they started that runner, he can get to third base with less than 2 outs.
So Kendrys Morales has hit 3 home runs in his last 10 games. First and third, 1 out. He's got to get it in the air. He has hit into 10 double plays, but boy, oh boy, when he gets it airborne, oftentimes it leaves the yard.
He's pulled a lot of balls to right field, and because there's a runner at first base, they can't overshift against him. So if he wants to take a shot at pulling that ball into right field, he's got a big hole.
Off the plate. Morales hit his 10th home run of the season in last night's game. It was a game winner, broke a 4-4 tie. Of his 10 home runs, 7 have either given the Blue Jays the lead or tied the game up. It's a fly ball. It's going to score a run. Carrera's tagging Bautista at first as well. Carrera will come in, and the Blue Jays have cut right back into that lead. For Morales, RBI number 30 with the sac fly.
That's what good hitters do. That's what run producers do, and they are given those opportunities with runners in scoring position. And that's why it was so important, I thought, for the Blue Jays to start the runner, and Carrera is able to get first or third on a bullet to left field. Got him a run.
Justin Smoke leads the team in RBIs with 34. Blue Jays aren't going to run in this ballpark. They have homered in 17 of their last 19 games. They're not going to run into any outs.
I think those are just decoys over there at first base from Bautista. He was faking like he was going to try and steal. There's some information being passed around on that bench.
Smoke fouls it out of play. The Blue Jays in this series with a run here in the first inning have now scored 24 runs in 3 games. They have 32 hits and have drawn 10 walks. Kendrys Morales with another RBI. 2-1 Cincinnati. Got that fastball in a good spot to Smoke upstairs.
He's a sinker ball pitcher. He won't wow the radar gun. He's going to have to move the ball around, throw breaking balls, use his changeup.
Adamant is 29 years old. We mentioned he signed with the Orioles, and the Orioles released him in March of 2012. He didn't re-sign with the Reds until October of 2013.
He's also spent some time in the independent leagues.
Smoke gets underneath it and hits it a mile high. Peraza in foul territory makes the play. The Blue Jays are done in the bottom of the first, but they score a run and cut into that Reds early lead.
Jays have made this a one-run game. You know, when you're out of options, you understand the business of baseball real well. Mike Bolsinger knows the deal. Matter of fact, so much so, he told me, I expect this to be my last start as a Blue Jay. Bolsinger understands the situation. Francisco Liriano is returning to the rotation on Friday, and so a roster move needs to be made. So as a result, Bolsinger is using this as a showcase start of sorts. He's added the two-seam fastball that's elicited a lot of ground balls, and he's worked on the changeup. He's actually asked Marco Estrada for some advice on that. He's just not happy with the number of walks he's had in a game, guys. He said, I'm trying to be too precise with location, and that's hurt me.
Yeah, he's never had this high a rate of walks in his career. This year's been the exception. His walks per 9 up over 6. That's created a lot of problems for him. This is Scott Schebler, the right fielder.
Well, kudos to him for trying different things to try and work through it. Put your time in between starts. Talk to some of your teammates. Do a couple of different things to try and help yourself out. There's just a lot of base runners that you've had to deal with in your starts.
A curveball, check swing, and Chris Guccione down at third base with no swing.
He only gave up 2 earned runs in his last start. That was against a very good hitting Texas Rangers team. But he had to pitch around 4 walks.
Last season, he picked up a win against Cincinnati. Schebler went around there. May 24th, he went 5 2/3. He allowed 3 hits, 2 runs. Gave up a home run to Adam Duvall, a 2-run home run. That was the only damage. He walked 1 and struck out 6 in that game against Cincinnati.
His only win last year.
Here's the 2-2 pitch. Fouled it back. Well, Bolsinger, he's very aware that the Blue Jays are scoring a ton of runs. So he's just got to put up a couple of zeros here. And as Arash Madani mentioned that, you know, ball players can figure things out. You and I did that as players, and they all can count. 25-man roster, going to activate a pitcher.
Something's going to happen. So, you know, you also can't worry about that. You can't take that out to the mound with you. What you have to do is concentrate right now in the moment. And right now you need a 0 so the Jays offense can get back into this ball game and help you win.
Well, with the status of pitching around baseball, if he comes up with a good outing and the Blue Jays do have to move him, he's going to land with somebody right away. Look at the Reds. Reds are all banged up. Seattle Mariners had 4 starters on the DL, and we saw them. I mean, there's pitching needs all over baseball.
You know, and it's not written in stone that, you know, that would be it. I mean, you could always move them into the bullpen and take an optional player and make a move with an optional player and pitch out of the bullpen, be a long man. But that's for decisions for another day, right?
Absolutely. He's got to focus on this game at hand. 3-2 count to Schebler, leading off the second, and he walks. Let's check in again with the Rash.
Well, guys, one interesting thing that Bolsinger told me is he's more comfortable as a bullpen arm. He did that predominantly in Buffalo at the start of the season. He only had 1 start in AAA. He finds the 4 days off actually accumulates rest for him. He said he prefers with maybe a night off in between outings. He says he gets better momentum and his stuff is a little more sharper with less rest.
That's really interesting, and most guys want to pitch in the rotation and have plenty of opportunities, and you got a little more leeway when you pitch in the starting rotation for sure. Let's go to Jeanette. He's the DH this afternoon.
He's had some good numbers against Bolsinger. That's why he is DHing today.
He was a starting second baseman on Friday. Came in as a pinch hitter in last night's game. Hit a line drive, but it was right at Smoke at first. Foul that one back. 2-1 ball game. Jay Happ made his return, and it was a pretty solid outing for Jay Happ in last night's game. First start since April 16th. Up through 81 pitches over 4 innings. Gave up 2 runs on 3 hits. I thought he threw the ball well.
Yeah, I heard him talking after the ball game, saying that there was some rust out there, and his mechanics, they weren't on time or in tune. I think you give him a little bit of a leeway there. He only made 1 rehab start after being out about a month, and honestly, they could have used another 1 or 2 down there in the minor leagues, rehab starts, to iron out those mechanics. But you know what? They needed him here, and he came and he delivered.
The breaking ball missed inside. It's 3-1 now. Marco Estrada will open up the series tomorrow night against the Yankees. He'll be opposed by CC Sabathia. Estrada is 4-2. Sabathia 5-2 so far this season. Liriano is penciled in to start on Friday night, and there's another walk. Back-to-back walks to start the second.
Hit a home run with any project this season. Home Hardware, proud sponsor of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Well, the Blue Jays don't want to get ahead of themselves, but we can. We'll look at the probable starters for the Yankees. Estrada will start tomorrow. That's up against CC Sabathia. Liriano will return to the rotation. He'll go up against Michael Pineda. Liriano is 2-2. Then Joe Biagini gets an extra day's rest on Saturday. He'll be going up against the lefty Jordan Montgomery, the rookie. And then on Sunday, the finale of the homestand, Marcus Stroman, who has won 5 in a row, has a 6-2 record. He will go up against the hard-throwing righty Luis Severino.
Maybe the biggest surprise for the Yankees has been their pitching, how well they have pitched. Everybody keeps talking about their young players. But first things first, you got to take care of this game this afternoon against the Reds.
Tucker Barnhart is a switch-hitting catcher. He has done a nice job with him, playing in his 36th game here this afternoon. Breaking ball, this should be 2. Travis to Goins to first. Whatever Pete Walker said, you better write it down so you can remember it. Throw it over. Let the defense help you. And sure enough, they get the 4-6-3 double play.
Yeah, maybe it was first pitch strikes because Mike's got a good curveball and he's been cutting the ball and a little bit of a changeup, but you got to get to that curveball by throwing first pitch strikes. He went right after Barnhart, went strike 1. Then he can drop that curveball and he gets the 4-6-3 double play.
Could see Walker and DeMarlo Hale, the bench coach, having a little chuckle there. And DeMarlo probably said, "Hey, what'd you tell him?"
Said, "Throw this ground ball right here.
Let me write it down. We might need it again." Jose Peraza, the second baseman, he had a 2-hit night last night. He had his 13-game hit streak come to an end on Friday night when he was held 0 for 3. There's some talented players in this lineup. Peraza has 12 stolen bases. He played short in the opener on Friday. He is a regular second baseman. Fly ball. Carrera on the run. This ball is hit deep, and Carrera's not going to get there. Bounces over the wall for a ground rule double. Peraza is all the way to third base, but he'll go back to second. A shot RBI double for the second baseman.
They wanted to get that fastball up and out of the strike zone and see if he could pop that ball up, but Blue Jays just couldn't get that ball up high enough. You see Maley is up, but it wasn't in and it wasn't up high enough. A good effort by Carrera as he dives, really not close to catching that one. As it bounces out of here and the Reds get that run back that they gave up in the bottom of the inning.
Billy Hamilton takes ball 1. Hamilton was called out on strikes his first time up. Mike Bolsinger fell behind Hamilton 3-0, but he came all the way back to get the strikeout. 3-1 Cincinnati. Peraza with his double. That's his 6th double of the season. He's at second base now. Two 2-0. To Billy Hamilton with Cozart on deck. Cozart's already singled this afternoon.
Yeah, the 2 hottest hitters are coming up for the Reds. Cozart's had a great series against the Blue Jays.
2 home runs in the game last night. Cozart has now reached base in 23 straight games. Joey Votto hit a 2-run home run in the first. Little pop-up that Goins will catch. Didn't make the outfield grass, but the Reds add another run. They take a 3-1 lead as we head to the bottom of the second. hit streak. He'll lead things off here in the second.
During this homestand, you're starting to see signs of Russell Martin bust out of it in a big way. Had 3 hard hit balls the other night, then he had a home run to right field, and then last night picked on another changeup. Made the adjustment within that at bat, drills it out of here. His 5th home run already. And he's starting to swing a hot bat again.
Russell's 8 for his last 17 during those 5 games. A double and 2 home runs. Stay hot. When you're hot, and why wait around? You see a good one to hit, whack it.
Well, he's always been a guy who's gone deep into the count, but he picked something up on Adelman and said if he's going to throw that first pitch fastball right there, I'm going to be waiting for it. Do you have a feeling that this game is one of those games where the team that bats last has the best chance today?
Yeah, I do. They're 2 good offensive ball clubs, and Joey Votto and Russell Martin enjoying a talk about that, I'm sure. Votto's got a home run already. Russell's got a single. This is Chris Coghlan. Coghlan starting in left field. Coghlan was penciled in the lineup on Friday night in left field, but he was a late scratch as he went through batting practice. His bat tightened up on him, and Ezekiel Carrera started.
He was saying the other day, he said he's starting to swing the bat like I know he can, and I want to see a little bit more of him. That's why he was in the lineup the other day.
Lays off that pitch. It's 2-0.
Veteran guy, he's been around, and this is his strong point right here, being able to swing the bat.
Is foul back. In his last game, he went 2 for 3. He's trying to get something going here.
There's his last 7 games, 375 average. And you know, manager, when he starts to see a guy start to swing the bat well and have good at bats, he's going to put him in the lineup.
Three and 1 now. Yeah, managers are funny that way, aren't they?
If you can help me win a ball game.
Yeah. Players never really have to ask the manager why they're not playing. They know why they're not playing. Three-1. Single and a walk. Well, pitching has been a real concern for Cincinnati all season long, and we mentioned over the last 17 games their ERA at 6.03, and you see what they are for the season. They're last in ERA in the National League. They've allowed the most home runs, not striking out many guys and walking far too many, and that's just not going to cut it.
It's just injuries again. They're missing 4/5 of their starting rotation that was penciled in at the beginning of the season. They've had 2 guys in their rotation who were in the independent leagues who were released, and 2 guys who were released from other organizations now pitching for them and pitching in that starting rotation. So you got to figure the numbers are going to be not real good.
Here is Ryan Goins, who has made the most of his opportunities this season. He's got 4 home runs and 20 RBIs. Goins has done a terrific job. Last year, in 77 games, he had 12 ribbies.
Puts himself in better positions to hit this year with a little bit more power.
And you know what? It's really interesting. Cincinnati doesn't know an awful lot about Ryan Goins, but if they just throw a fastball in there on this 2-0 count, he's liable to hit another home run. He's been a terrific clutch hitter. His numbers are really phenomenal. When he's got guys on base, he really locks in on his focus, and he's done a heck of a job. Russell Martin gets picked off at second. Boy, that is a tough one. The first out of the inning comes on a pickoff.
I don't know if the Blue Jays are going to look at this. John Gibbons is asking them to hold on just a second. This is just the daylight play. Cozart, the veteran, slips right behind Russell Martin, shows daylight to that pitcher, and all you have to do is wheel and throw it to the bag.
Blue Jays continue to look at their video, but Danny DeMute, the veteran umpire, he was right on top of the play, and the Blue Jays are going to wave it off. So that's the first out of the inning, and a big one for Cincinnati. Goins now with a 2-0 count. Now 3-0.
Here's the daylight play. You spin, you throw. He's caught out there just a little bit too far. That is a bad feeling. Team trying to make a comeback. He knows it.
Inside strike. I tell you what, Zack Cozart doesn't get credit for how good he is. He's a terrific defender. Now he's got the bat coming through, and he gets overlooked.
That was a heads-up play. 2-0 count, just flashed in behind him.
Second walk. Yeah. Adelman's really having trouble throwing strikes, and sooner or later that's going to bite him with this potent lineup. Both pitchers have walked 2 now. So there's 1 out for the number 9 hitter, the catcher Luke Maile. Maile just 3 hits in 52 at bats. He has a home run. His only extra base hit. I think you made a good call, Mr. Taba, when you said we have not seen the end of the scoring in this game.
No, it's the team with the last at bat who might have the best chance. They picked something up on Tim Adelman. Looked like he was having trouble with that mound. Slipped a couple of times and then kicked at the dirt. I think the message right here is this guy's hitting number 9. You got to attack him. And if you're Luke Maile, wouldn't that be nice to get a fastball right there and do some damage?
The all-new 2017 CR-V. With revamped cargo space, it's the biggest fan yet. Honda, official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays and proud fan since 1977.
Cincinnati with a 3-1 lead. Luke Maile got a fastball, but hits it a mile high into center. Hamilton is there, and Oakland will hold at second. 2 away now. Hamilton's got a strong arm. He has 5 outfield assists so far. And some of those assists are complemented by his great speed. He gets to the ball very quickly.
He looked like he was surprised that Chris Cogler was going to try and tag up on him. That was just to draw a throw.
Devin Travis takes that curveball into dirt. Two outs. Travis grounded out the first baseman his first time up. Well, you really got to be focused as a hitter just to make sure you get something good to hit, because both of these starting pitchers have struggled with their control.
They're struggling with their off-speed pitches. That was a changeup, it looked like, from Adelman. He's got a curveball that he bounced last time. So as a hitter, just look for the fastball.
Evan got his fastball but fouled it back.
You know, when you pick up that a pitcher is having problems throwing his breaking ball for a strike or his off-speed stuff for strikes early in the count, that's what you can look for, the fastball. Now, as you get to 2 strikes, you might want to expand and start looking for the breaking ball.
Evan Travis got caught looking for the breaking ball and takes strike 3. The Blue Jays have a hit, 2 walks, and can't score. We'll go to the 3rd, 3-1, Cincinnati. Yeah, he's on the bench, but Zack Cozart will lead things off. And the reason we have them on the screen is they both played for Team USA in 2006 in the World University Games. That was played in Cuba. And they were undefeated. Barney was a shortstop, Cozart was a shortstop, and Barney had just completed the College World Series. He was at Oregon State, and they beat North Carolina in the decisive series to win the championship. So Team USA was already practicing by the time Darwin got to the team, and the coach told him, hey, we've got this fellow named Cozart, and we got another shortstop named Brandon Crawford. Would you mind playing left field? But Barney says, no, I'll play anywhere, and he hit 5th in that lineup. But it was quite an interesting team. Brandon Crawford, Zack Cozart, Darwin Barney, and Todd Frazier were all shortstops on that team. And of course, they've all become terrific major leaguers. And then you get into the pitching department. David Price, Jake Arrieta, Tommy Hunter, Sean Doolittle were all pitchers on that team.
Please tell me they didn't lose a game.
They didn't lose a game.
Okay, all right.
J.P. Arancibia was a catcher along with Tim Fedorovich. Pedro Alvarez was the 3rd baseman. I mean, they had players all over the place. Jamal Weeks was the 2nd baseman. Julio Bourbon, who played at Tennessee, was the center fielder. But Darwin said they had a lot of fun, and they had a real good team. Bolsinger with another walk. This is the leadoff walk here in the 3rd, and it brings Joey Votto to the plate, and he's had a big series for the Reds.
Well, he's got power to all fields. He doesn't have to pull the ball to knock the ball out of here. He takes the first pitch from Jay Happ in last night's ball game. Takes it off the WestJet flight deck deep to center field, then curveball early in this count, and he takes it out of here. The thing about Votto is he's going to be a big home run hitter, and he's got the great on-base percentage, but he doesn't have to pull it to knock it out of here. He's got 2 to left field, 5 to center field, and now 7 to right field. He is just a darn good hitter.
One of the best. He's got the 3rd highest active batting average. And he has a very compact swing. His home run in the 1st is 14th of the season.
We showed his eyes on that home run, how he just tracked it all the way down till the ball hit the bat. He's now 0-2. And here's a stat at you. You know what he's hitting after the count gets to 0-2? 360. this year. The major league average is just over 190. But this is Joey Votto. He falls behind 0-2, and he's able to fight off pitches and still find his base hits.
That's just pure determination. Great bat control. Look at how he chokes down on the bat handle.
He's getting lower and lower in that crouch, isn't he, to track that ball? He's up on the barrel.
You know what that just reminded me of from center field?
Pete Rose.
Exactly. Looks just like Pete Rose.
When he gets to 2 strikes, how he crouches down low to watch the ball. And that's what he's going to do. He's just going to keep fouling off those tough pitches until he finds one that he likes.
You know, that's such a great approach. And used to see that so often. Everybody hit like this. I remember talking to Yogi Berra. I said, Yogi, what was your approach as a hitter? He said, well, I look for the fastball before I get 2 strikes, and then I protect the plate. Really? How innovative. Don't strike out. Put the bat on the ball. Votto hits it in the air. Coughlin is there. Joey's retired. Cozart returns to first.
I wonder what Yogi's launch angle was. We don't care. He was just a great hitter. He was the best bad ball hitter I've ever seen.
You know what? It was hard to get a launch angle when that ball's up over your hat. Whacking at it, hitting all over the ballpark.
Obviously, I didn't watch him, you know, in person, but watching all the video and everything, bounce the ball up there and he'd swing and get a base hit.
Adam Duvall. He struck out on a breaking ball his first time up. Popped up on the infield. Travis, the second baseman, takes charge. He makes the catch right on the edge of the dirt.
Super Slow-Mo Cam. Brought to you by the Samsung QLED, the next innovation in TV.
Third and final game between the Blue Jays and the Reds. Jays won the first one, a laugher on Friday night, 17-2. They got a 2-run home run in the bottom of the 8th last night to win it 6-4. That broke a 4-4 tie. Cincinnati has scored first in each of these 3 ball games.
Put the pressure on the Blue Jays, haven't they? Scoring early in the first inning in all 3 games.
You know, the Blue Jays, they allowed 4 runs last night. They've allowed over 4 runs only once in the last 8 games. Their pitching has done a nice job of shutting down the opponents. Fly ball into shallow right. Bautista coming in. He is there, and Mike Bolsinger throws up a 0 for the first time this afternoon. The big bats will come up in this inning. Ezekiel Carrera has a single already, so does Bautista, and Kendrys Morales has driven in the Blue Jays run.
KR broadcast auction presented by TD will take place during SportsCent's broadcast on Friday, June the 2nd. Hosted by Ivanka Osmak, there are 10 unique Blue Jays and sport experiences and packages up for bids. Visit bluejays.com/broadcast auction to see a list of all the prizes available, and all the funds will help Jays Care level the playing field for over 65,000 children.
Thank you very much, Arash. And there are many, many good auction items up for bid, including a trip to Fenway Park in July to watch the Blue Jays take on the Red Sox. 17th and 18th of July, two of the 3-4 game series in Fenway Park. You have a chance to go to Fenway Park and see the great ballpark, the Reds, and of course that's a statue of the great Ted Williams outside the ballpark. And they've done a terrific job of incorporating that ballpark into the neighborhood there in Boston.
Is that Yawkey Way right there?
Yawkey Way.
Just hang out right outside the baseball field.
Oh, what a great atmosphere. If you're a baseball fan and you want to see one of the real iconic stadiums, you need to bid on that during the broadcast auction on Friday.
I'll tell you what, the Blue Jays are well represented by the fans there in Boston. It's a lot of fun when we go there, hang out with a lot of the fans. We walk back to the hotel after the ball game and we get to spend some time with the fans.
Three and two now. Jose Bautista singled his first time up. He will bat next. Carrera had a single. He scored the Blue Jays run on the sac fly by Kendrys Morales. That was in the first. Tim Adelman, the Reds starting pitcher. That might have been ball 4.
He's got that little hesitation in his windup where he starts to take the ball out of the glove and hesitates just ever so briefly to try and throw off the timing of the hitters. It's not as pronounced as Roberto Osuna's or Marcus Stroman's, but it's just a little one, just to help him gather himself over the mound.
Ezekiel Carrera, his second straight hit this afternoon. You get on ahead of the big bats, and chances are Blue Jays are going to score some runs.
That's the whole idea, right? We saw some big bats in yesterday's game. I was looking at some of the numbers of the distance of the home runs that were hit in yesterday's game. There's Carrera bouncing that ball back through the middle. Donaldson's home run was measured at 447. Joey Votto's was 447. Jose's was 438. And then just for good measure, Kendrys Morales was 435. So 4 of the top 5 home runs yesterday in distance were in our game yesterday.
You know what's really interesting about how they measure those home runs? I'm sure they do it with laser and they measure it, but how far would that home run have been had it gone down from the playing level?
Okay, so if you just let it
all the way
finish.
down. There's no stadium out there.
Let's see.
We got to get the University of Toronto on that and get the math department to figure out how far those home runs would go if there was not a fifth deck here.
Where it would land out on Blue Jay Way or something like that?
Yeah. Like you and I used to play with no fences.
Way back.
Way back.
Way back. Bautista put a charge into the second deck in left field.
You know, years ago in the 50s and 60s, a lot of the ballparks didn't have bleachers in the outfield. The ball went out of the ballpark, it was out of the ballpark. Doesn't happen anymore. Way outside. Bautista with a 2-0 count. They mentioned Jose during interleague play. He now has 22 hits. He came into this game batting .447 during interleague action this season. Ball just tailed a bit off the outside corner. 2-1.
Healthy cut right there from Jose. That bat speed has come back, and he was thinking about putting one in the upper deck.
Breaking ball kind of hung over the middle of the plate and Hamilton with that great speed gets there and makes the sliding catch, one away. Kendrys Morales last night in the 8th inning with Bautista on base untied the game.
Breaking ball first pitch, fastball second pitch. Ball game, Blue Jays. He has a knack for getting on top of that high fastball and taking it out of the ballpark. He now has 10 home runs and 29 RBIs. Make that 30 RBIs after the sacrifice fly today.
Well, the thing that's so impressive about Morales, and for that matter Bautista, has exactly the same numbers. They both hit 10 home runs, and 7 of their home runs have either tied the game or given the Blue Jays the lead. That's what you want from your home run hitters. Don't just put up empty home runs. They put up home runs that matter.
Yeah, empty numbers. You hit a 2-run home run when it's 10-2. You know, who cares?
These guys are game changers.
Who do you want up there with a tie score, 2 outs runner in scoring position? You want a guy who's going to deliver the goods.
Votto makes a terrific play, and they've got Carrera in a rundown. Votto stepped on first to retire Morales, and that'll be another double play for Cincinnati. The 3rd inning comes to a quick end for Adelman.
Were teammates the last time, as a matter of fact, was with Team Canada. World Baseball Classic in this building, 2009. Included that thriller against the Americans. The U.S. squeaked by 6-5. Martin behind the plate. Votto went 4 for 5 with a home run. Now, the Canadians were shorthanded at this year's WBC, and Martin couldn't play because of the insurance issues. Russ told me he understands why a young player trying to make a big league team wouldn't play. Take care of yourself and your career first, he said. But Martin also raved of the benefits of the tournament, representing your country, the lift it can give you from a confidence standpoint if you do well against elite players. Russ said, "I love to play for Canada, but I still understand why guys would decide not to play."
It is a real challenge for players to step up and play in those tournaments. But having gone through that in 2006 with Team USA, one of the best experiences I ever had. And that game in 2009 with Martin and Votto in this ballpark, one of the best atmospheres they've ever seen. That includes the World Series game. It was terrific.
Did you catch who the third base coach was for Team Canada there on that home run?
He looked familiar.
Tim Leeper, the Blue Jays first base coach. He's got a nice little handshake. You know, the old.
Yeah, Tim has really enjoyed his time with Team Canada during the WBC. It's just a great tournament. I know the challenge is to find out when the perfect time might be to play it.
All right, so if you watch it, if you were watching it, there he is, Leap. The old handshake and the pat on the backside as he sends him home. Yeah, Leap says, I love doing that. I really enjoy being around the guys.
It's a great atmosphere. This is the right fielder, Scott Schebler. 0-2 count. Strike three called. That fastball caught the inside corner. That's the third strikeout for Bolsinger.
I think that would surprise Scott Schebler just a little bit, how it came back. It looked like a two-seam fastball, something they've been working on. It's going to come back and catch the inside corner. Good call from Luke Maile to hold that glove right there and pick up the strikeout.
Bolsinger kept the Reds off the board in the third. Bouncing ball, nice hop for Travis off the bat of Scooter Gennett, 2 away. Beauty Tone, Canada's color experts, available exclusively at Home Hardware and Building Center locations. 2 away. Now the catcher, Tucker Barnhart, who grounded into a 4-6-3 double play back in the second. That was after back-to-back walks to start the inning. But Jose Peraza hit a ground rule double that knocked in Scott Schebler, who had started the inning drawing the walk.
Looked like they were going to get out of that. 2 walks to lead off that inning. It looked like the Blue Jays had a chance to get out of that without any damage.
That's a foul ball. Coghlan sliding into that wall, break his momentum. Again, Bolsinger ahead 0-2.
Using the fastball early in the count. Barnhart can't get around on it. That thing is about 3 feet. Foul.
Tim Leeper's in charge of the outfield defense, and he is passing along some information to left fielder Chris Coghlan right before the start of the game. There's so much information available. They move defenders around according to the counts.
He doesn't miss much, Leeper. I mean, he gets here early for those 7 o'clock games to go over video, because he's the first base coach. He'll watch the opposing pitcher, all the bullpen guys, their types of moves. He's also in charge of the outfield, like you said, and he's going to be working with a couple of outfielders today. Coghlan in left field, Carrera in center field. They're not real familiar, so he's got to keep reminding them where to play them against these Reds hitters. There's a lot of work that goes into being a major league coach.
Absolutely, and Luis Rivera is in charge of the infield defense. He and Leeper talk an awful lot about how they're going to align those two defensive aspects of this team. Another called strikeout. A couple of strikeouts in the inning for Bolsinger. He's retired 6 in a row. Now the hitters need to figure out Tim Adelman.
Enjoying those big comfy green chairs in the TD Comfort Zone are guests from one of TD's community partners. And tonight, game 2. You know how the opener went. BK Subban said, "I thought we outplayed them." Mike Sullivan said, "We weren't very good." Yet the Penguins won the opener. Game 2 tonight, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, Sportsnet and CBC.
Well, that's the beauty of playing in a championship series. You can play a long period and not get much done as long as you come up with the big play at the end, and that's what happened with the Penguins. Justin Smoke goes after the first pitch and hits a high fly deep to center, but Hamilton is there to make the play. One out here in the 4th. The Blue Jays last night, first time through the order, first 9 batters. Asher Wojciechowski faced the minimum. Gave up a single, got a double play, but boy, in the 4th inning, the roof caved in. 4 runs on 3 hits, 3 home runs in that 4th inning, and the Blue Jays were off and running.
Second time through now. Blue Jays had a single in a double play ball.
Wojciechowski, the former Blue Jays draft pick, went 4 innings charged with 4 earned runs on 4 hits. Russell Martin has extended his hit streak to 6 straight games. He had a single to center back in the 2nd. He made a base running mistake in that 2nd inning with 2 board. He was at second base, got picked off by the pitcher. Picked off on the daylight play at second. Zack Cozart snuck in behind him and they picked him off. That was the first out of the inning. There would be a second walk to Ryan Goins. That would have loaded the bases with nobody out.
Blue Jays didn't score. I wonder if Russell tweaked something on that swing. That was a mighty swing at the plate. And after the swing, watch his reaction as he finishes it. He's going to step out just a little bit, walk around. I don't know if it's a leg or an arm. Looked like he had a little bit of a tweak going on there.
Yeah, he's still trying to loosen up his back, shoulders, who knows. Took a big swing, that's for sure. Been swinging it well. Russell has homered in 2 straight games. And he's called out. That fastball catches the outside corner.
This 4K broadcast is brought to you by the Samsung QLED, the next innovation in TV.
Two outs here as the burgers are being tended to. Russell Martin strikes out. Called out on strikes. Chris Coghlan, a left fielder, he walked his first time up. Goes after that first pitch. Bottom of the 4th, Cincinnati has a 3-1 lead. The Blue Jays have 4 hits. The Reds have 3 hits, but Joey Votto hit a 2-run home run in the first. And John Gibbons over to check in with Russell Martin. He saw the same thing we saw on that swing. Josh Donaldson and Troy Tulowitzki not starting in this game. It's by design. They both just came back on Friday and played for the first time. Donaldson missed 38 games. Tulowitzki missed 31 games. So you want to make sure you don't beat them up right out of the chute.
Got a shot there. Kevin Pillar also. He's been grinding, playing every day, every inning, and maybe wanted to give him a little bit of a blow this afternoon. He also wanted to flip-flop Morales and Smoke, because Smokey's been playing every inning out there.
Boy, that hit the umpire flush. Carlos Torres, the home plate umpire. Mike Frostad out to help him out. That could hit above that shin guard. Shin guard just goes to the top of your knee, and then that quad's exposed, and that really hit him flush. Well, we've seen a lot of that this year, haven't we? Umpires getting hit with foul balls.
We had a game earlier where Dale Scott got hit in the face mask, and that one right on the knee, and actually got knocked out of the ball game. If you remember that one right here at the Rogers Center, as Torres tries to stay up, but goes down. Hope he's okay.
Well, that is an area in those shin guards where those flaps move, and if you hit it right on that crease of the flaps, it's not that strong a protection. You can see it in the catcher's shin guard behind the umpire, how there are flaps that overlap, and when you flex your knee, those two separate and they become kind of vulnerable right in that crease where those two flaps come together. And he is up and about, and looks like I'm going to check to make sure he can move around a little bit. And this really caught him flush on that left knee.
Tried to regain his balance, but that knee was bothering him. They do a great job of this nowadays. The trainers come out and help the umpires. I was referencing that Dale Scott foul ball off his head and got a concussion.
I don't know if he's returned yet.
I don't know either.
It was his third concussion. I talked to Dale after that incident here at Rogers Center, and he had suffered 2 previous concussions, and obviously the more frequent those concussions are, the more concerned the medical staffs are. The umpires, they undergo those baseline tests just like the players, and they have a medical staff that's based in Arizona. And anytime there's a problem, they will go back to Arizona and check with their medical staff. While we have a moment, let's check in with Jamie Kemp, who's got an update for us. Thank you very much, Jamie. The Twins, they have lost 3 in a row because of the Houston Astros. The Indians have won 3 in a row, and they start virtually in a flat-footed tie in the AL Central, top the Central. Houston, 37-16. They've won 8 of their last 10, and as Jamie mentioned, they've won 6 in a row.
No Miguel Sano in the lineup today, or Joe Mauer for Minnesota.
Torres calls Coghlan out. Coghlan was halfway up the line. He can't believe it. Fastball for a strike. 3 up, 3 down. The Blue Jays go down quietly in the 4th. We head to the 5th. 3-1 Cincinnati. Now time for an update. Here's Jamie Campbell with Greg Zahn in the Samsung broadcast studio.
2017 returns with fast-paced pick-up-and-play MLB action. Back with your favorite big league teams, players, ballparks, and much more. Get RBI Baseball today for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and mobile devices. You can learn more at RBIGame.com. Guys, we had that scary incident when the home plate umpire got hit. He went down, came back to ring up Chris Coughlin, and then immediately at the end of the inning, he and another one of the umpires went underneath. Now, we're not sure if they were visiting with George Poulos, the Blue Jays head trainer, who went out. Not sure if he's getting x-rays or maybe just a little bit of treatment. But for now, we are in a holding pattern. And so too is Mike Bolsinger, who is on the mound and not even throwing any warm-up pitches, as the umpires are now coming out of the dugout. So the plot thickens here, Buck.
Yeah, it sure does. And Carlos Torres probably went in with the crew chief, Dana DeMuth, and Dana made sure that he was okay before they allowed him to continue. They might have taken a look at his shin guard, make sure it was okay and it was intact, and he appears to be okay. He's not going to give up the ghost here in this team. So we'll go to the top of the fifth. Mike Bolsinger has retired 6 in a row. He had a leadoff walk in the third. He gave up 2 runs in the first, a run in the second, and nothing since. The Blue Jays haven't been able to get to Tim Adelman. Jose Peraza had a 2-out RBI ground rule double in the second. He drove in the 3rd run for Cincinnati.
Their last hit for the Reds. That double to right center field. Tried to go up and in, and he just missed.
Bolsinger has now thrown 75 pitches. That's foul back. Check that. 71 pitches on that foul ball. His season high in pitches, 102. He threw 102 pitches 2 starts ago at Baltimore. That was over the span of 5 1/3. Hit 5 walks in that game, and that has been a constant theme. Just too many walks. He's had 3 walks in this game so far, but he's retired 6 in a row.
Yeah, since that double, it seems like he's made an effort to use his fastball just a little bit more, especially early in the count. Get ahead with the fastball, maybe finish him off with the curveball. He's had a couple of strikeouts last inning by painting with his fastball.
There's a slider and another strikeout. 1 away here in the 5th. Shoots the slider a little bit more this afternoon than he has in the past.
It's nothing like pitching ahead, because when you're ahead, you can start going for the edges, start spinning a breaking ball just a little bit more. So when you're pitching ahead, you can do this. He has struck out 3 out of the last 4 batters that he has faced.
Russell Martin inching in at 3rd to guard against the bunt. This is Billy Hamilton. Russell keeps flexing his shoulders and moving around. Remember, he took a wild swing and looked like felt something give, but he appears to be okay. And the strike, Bolsinger all of a sudden has zeroed in on the strike zone. Travis comes after it. Hamilton is 0 for 3.
With that guy, you got to shorten up, don't you? The infields were all shortened up, playing about halfway. Even a routine ground ball to the second baseman, with his speed, he makes it a close play.
Hamilton just 2 for 12 in this series, and they have done a good job of keeping him off base. When he gets on base, he comes around to score. Zack Cozart, Blue Jays can't get him out. He has singled and walked so far this afternoon. He was on base 4 times last night. 2 home runs, 2 walks, and 5 plate appearances. I guess he just doesn't like DHing, because he was the DH on Friday, went 0 for 3 with a walk. That snapped his hit streak at 11 straight. He has since played shortstop, and he's wearing out the baseball.
maybe the biggest play of the game, at least so far, was the pickoff at second base. That was all Zack Cozart. He snuck in right behind the runner and gave him the daylight play, and with first and second, nobody out, got the pickoff at second base.
Another strikeout for Bolsinger. 6 strikeouts through 5 innings, but he still trails 3-1. Vegas with the most flights from Canada. Take a swing at your WestJet Vegas surprise and book now for the whole team at westjet.com/Vegas. For the Blue Jays, it'll be 8, 9, and 1 in their lineup. Ryan Goins, Luke Maile, and then Devin Travis, the leadoff man. Goins walked his only time up. That was back in the second. Mike Bolsinger has settled down. He's kept the Blue Jays within striking distance.
It's all you can ask for. You hope that the offense can push through against Adelman. Adelman settled down a little bit too. Second inning looked like they were going to reach it for some runs. Mentioned the pickoff and a fly ball and a strikeout. The Blue Jays really haven't threatened since.
Ball and a strike to the Blue Jays shortstop. That's low. Goins making his 32nd start. Remember, Troy Tulowitzki missed 31 games, and Ryan did a terrific job. He really plays great defense. And he got some big hits, as we mentioned. Bunts it up the third base line, and that's a beauty. Oh, what a timely bunt by Goins. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better bunt, and he hit it right off the end of the bat to deaden it.
Right off the end of the bat, and he kept it on the turf. If that ball goes on the dirt, it tends to leak towards the foul line, but he kept it on the turf. Watch this thing go out onto the grass and then just roll out there and just stay true. Nobody, and I mean nobody, had a chance to get that one.
Well, that is a beauty. Blue Jays practice that a lot. They'll come out and practice those bunts several times a homestand, but that time it was a terrific bunt by Goins. Leadoff man's aboard. Luke Maile puts a charge, hit it high and deep. Get going, ball. Get out of here. And gone. Luke Maile, his second home run, and just like that, it's a tie game. A bloop and a blast.
By definition, the short and the long of it. Bunt base hit. Luke Maile, his last time up, he flew out to center field, and he felt like he got a pretty good pitch to hit. And you can see he was upset with himself when he flew out. That was in the second inning, so he got the same type of swing and got all of that one to left field.
I tell you what, John Gibbons is pushing all the right buttons, isn't he? Luke Maile gets the start. Russell plays third. Luke goes deep. Goins gets the start at shortstop. He gets a bunt base hit. And I can't tell you what that does for the chemistry of a team when your extra players get a chance to play and they deliver like this. I mean, it really brings everybody together.
You and I, at the end of our careers, were extra players, and when we had a chance to play and then contribute, you felt like you were part of the team. You felt like you were helping the team win. And then the regular guys are digging it because they get an off day.
Absolutely. Three-three ball game. Another home run for the Blue Jays. They have homered in 18 of 20 games.
Hey, May's not over. They do it again. That is deep and not playable.
And that one's not coming back. 48th home run for the Blue Jays in May. That ties them with Tampa Bay for the most home runs in the month. Travis strikes out. Tampa Bay will play later on tonight in Arlington against the Rangers. And you look at the Blue Jays, home runs in the month of May in franchise history. They have tied their season of 2014, trailing just that 2010 team. What a month they have put together. Ezekiel Carrera hits it to right. Schebler is there, and he makes the catch 2 away.
Well, on this road trip, we have added this camera for your delight to watch the trajectory and the distance of the home runs off the bats. And that's a thing of beauty right there.
So it's a brand new ball game, and let's give Mike Bolsinger some credit. Bolsinger has settled down very nicely. He's retired 9 in a row and allowed the offense to come back, and they have tied it up.
You ever hit a home run against your hometown team?
Yeah.
It's got to be a good feeling, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Luke Maile grew up watching the Cincinnati Reds in the Cincinnati area.
Well, on Friday night, Marty Brenneman, the radio voice of the Cincinnati Reds, gave Luke a shout out to his family back home, and he said a lot of friends told him about it. He's got his family in Edgewood, I believe. That's his home where he went to school, and big fan of Marty Brenneman, listened to him for years. And Marty, of course, the Hall of Fame radio voice of the Cincinnati Reds.
He was calling him Mr. Brenneman the other day. You know, he's from northern Kentucky, which is right across the Ohio River from Cincinnati. Grew up watching the Reds, listening to Marty, and now he's got a home run against his team.
Jose Bautista, 3-1. Oh, he got a pitch to hit, got underneath it. Hamilton running way in from center. We'll get there. That ends the inning, but what an inning it is. Ryan Goins, the number 8 hitter, leading the inning off, drops down a perfect bunt. He sets the table for this swing. Luke Maile, with his 2nd home run of the season, has tied it at 3. Joey Votto grew up in Toronto, and boy, since he has made his major league debut in 2007, he has established high standards for hitters in all of baseball.
First of all, he's a great hitter. Okay, there are all his numbers. #1 in walks, on base percentage, average. He's second. He's a great hitter, and he works extremely hard. Takes the game seriously, takes his craft very seriously, hitting. Puts the time in and just keeps getting better and better.
2-0. According to Baseball Reference, at the start of play today, Miguel Cabrera was hitting .3.197. Okay. Ichiro was hitting .3.118. Joey Votto was hitting .3.117. And he's got a hit now. So I don't know that he hasn't moved into second place ahead of Ichiro.
For their careers. For
active
their careers.
leaders.
Active leaders. There's not too many active 300 hitters.
12.
Spent some time in the big leagues. 12.
There are 12 active 300 hitters. That's why I always get a chuckle out of people when they say, well, this kid, he's probably going to hit .280 in the big leagues. Oh, wait a minute now. There aren't many .280 lifetime hitters. As a matter of fact, I'll go down a list and tell you how many active .280 hitters there are. 46.
46. How many players are there?
800 roughly.
Yeah, for who come up and down and all that kind of stuff.
There are 46 hitters active that are hitting .280 or better. Hitting is hard.
And there's some guys who just make it look easy, and that's one of them right there. As he's going to take first base again.
Looked like a pretty good pitch. The walk, the fourth issue, that snaps a streak of 9 straight retired by Bolsinger, and with that, Aaron Loop is loosening up in the pen. Blue Jays got a double play in the second. Adam Duvall 0 for 2 to this point. Blue Jays have tied it up. It's a 3-3 game. Strike 2. The Blue Jays used 5 relievers yesterday. Danny Barnes threw 20 pitches in 2 innings of work. He might not be available. Same for Ryan Tepera. Tepera threw 21 pitches in the outing.
Yeah, Barnes, he might be down today. And they asked John Gibbons before the game, what happens if something goes haywire early in the ball game? Yeah, Mike Bolsinger gets injured, gets a line drive, or is ineffective, and he said that wouldn't be good. Would not be good. He's done a good job. He's got his team into the 6th inning. He's got some tough hitters to deal with here in the 6th inning.
Duvall taps that breaking ball foul.
This is also, excuse me, about the 3rd time through the lineup for the Reds, so they've got a pretty good indication of what Mike Bolsinger is going to feature.
Duvall hit a 2-run home run off of Bolsinger last May 24th. Mike would eventually win that game. He had a good outing. He only allowed 3 hits. He went 5 2/3, gave up 2 runs on 3 hits. The only 2 runs was the Duvall 2-run homer. Well, that slider's been a very good pitch for him this afternoon. That's 7 strikeouts, 1 away. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. For Goldschmidt, number 12, he has driven in 39 runs. I don't care who you are, how hard you throw, how soft you throw strike one, you've got a chance to get outs.
And he's throwing strike one. He's getting ahead with that fastball now and using it very effectively.
Suarez hits it into the seats for a second strike. It's 0-2. Millar out to have a little chat with Bolsinger.
You know, let's give a little credit there too. Luke Mailey's done a good job catching these pitchers, learning them, finding their strengths. I was talking to him the other day and I was asking him about his game calling, and he was saying, you know, sometimes I like to pitch to that batter's strengths early in the game so I can change and find his weakness later on.
That is such a good approach. Early in the game, you know, who knows what's going to happen, so put some doubt in that hitter's mind. You know, a lot of catchers will go right to the weakness and pound that weakness the whole game long, and now you have no place to go in a tight situation.
You know who was great at that? And he was a pitcher, Greg Maddux. He'd be facing Tony Gwynn early in the game, and he'd say, okay, his strength is down and in. He would go there early on, but then when he needed an out, he'd always have something to get him.
There's a base hit. It comes on 2 strikes to Suarez, his first hit of the afternoon. So Mike Bolsinger, he's going to be taken out of this game. John Gibbons has already made the call. Scott Schebler, he got a double off Aaron Loup in last night's game, but Bolsinger, what a nice job. 7 strikeouts here this afternoon. That's one off his career high. He had 2 8-strikeout games, and boy, after a little bit of a rocky start, he settled down and kept his team in the game. Aaron Loup will come on with 2 aboard and 1 out to face Scott Schebler. The game and face the same batter he's going to face this afternoon. He came in last night, threw 2 pitches, and Scott Schebler hit a double off of him to start the 8th.
Loopy's been in 23 games this year. He's only given up a run in 3 of those appearances. Appearance number 24. He might have this whole inning if they can get him through this inning. I don't think this is a 1 batter type of inning or an appearance for Aaron Loup. He's going to have to get through this inning, maybe 1 more.
No one is throwing in the Blue Jays bullpen. Missed with that pitch inside. It's 1-1. Votto led off the inning with a walk. Suarez had a single to right on a 1-2 pitch. First and second, 1 out. Good fastball.
Little crossfire action right there to a left-hander. He steps towards first base, throws across his body, and then has the ability to hit that outside corner.
Strikes him out. He used the fastball last night. He threw him a breaking ball, and Schebler got a base hit. Tonight stays with the heater and strikes him out.
That's called making adjustments and learning from your mistakes. He puts this fastball in a good spot. He was telling me the other day that he feels like his strength is his fastball command, and that time he commanded it right where he wanted it, down and away.
2 down. Another lefty, Scooter Gennett. Gennett has walked and grounded out. Tell you what, this Reds team, they go up there hacking, don't they?
Yes, they do. Either coming off the bench or playing. They're ready to swing it as soon as they get into that batter's box.
Luke Maile with another visit to the mound. Mike Bolsinger did a nice job of settling down. Maile's done a terrific job catching. He has thrown the ball very well. He's blocked the ball well. He's handled the staff very well. Maile catching for the 17th time, making his 17th start behind the plate. Gennett fouls that pitch off. That was really in tight. That might have hit him. Reds have one left-hander in their bullpen. Wandy Peralta starting to loosen up. We're in the 6th inning. It's a 3-3 game. Loop ahead 0-2. Got it. What a job by Aaron Loop. He gets Gennett looking, comes in and strikes out Schebler and Gennett to end the inning. Cincinnati leaves a pair.
Three here in Toronto between the Reds and the Blue Jays. The story across baseball this week, of course, Bryce Harper and the incident the other day in San Francisco, charging the mound, the brawl. Harper appealed his 4-game suspension, and baseball has reduced that penalty from 4 games to 3. So Harper will miss tonight's game in San Francisco, then 2 in Oakland. He'll return Sunday against the Athletics. So a 1-game reduction, but for Harper because of all this.
Well, Harper got hit by Strickland, the San Francisco reliever, and then went to the mound, and yeah, it turned out to be pretty ugly. The consequences of a bench clearing ball aren't necessarily always the combatants. And in that brawl in San Francisco, Michael Morse, the big right-handed or big outfielder, slammed into Jeff Samardzija, the starting pitcher, and Morse suffered a concussion. He went on the 7-day DL. And that is often the case. It happened to the Blue Jays last year in the fight against the Yankees when Joaquin Benoit came in to participate, and on the way in he pulled his calf muscle and he was done for the season.
Done for the season. They get pitch in the playoffs. Yeah, we got a slow-mo shot of Morris and Samardzija colliding, trying to break up that fight when they both ran in. It was ugly.
Breaking ball, and Morales is behind 1-2. Jason Grilling has strung together some pretty good outings lately. Ground ball off the end of the bat. Suarez throws to first, and that ball hits the ground. Tim Leeper is saying, wait a minute now, let's look at that. It was a sinking throw from Suarez. Votto looked like he smothered it with his glove palm down, and Leeper came quickly to get the attention of the manager. Say, look at that thing. It may have hit the dirt. They're having a look at the replay, and watch the throw from the third baseman.
Nonchalant, and it gets away from him. Did the ball come out of his glove?
Nope, looked like he picked it cleanly, didn't it?
Yeah, it's in his glove. Is he on the base? That's what I would look at. Was he on the base when he caught it?
He's got the ball cleanly, and I tell you, that was hard to tell. He knew he left the base, and he pushed his foot back to make contact at the end. Academic now as Morales is out 5-3, first out of the bottom half of the sixth. Justin Smoak's had two real good swings here. He popped up, missed one in the first inning, and hit a high drive to center his second at bat.
Yeah, that last one, the one you were just talking about in the fourth inning, a fly ball deep to center field, he just missed it. He might get one right here to hit.
Boy, he's seeing the ball well. Smoak came into this game with a .283 batting average. He's got 20 extra base hits. Hits that one off the end of the bat. Peraza throws to first, 2 up, 2 down, a couple of ground outs. So now time for the schedule ahead, brought to you by WestJet. This will wrap up this 3-game series, and then the Yankees come to town, a 4-game series starting tomorrow night. The Blue Jays will fly out Sunday after that last ball game on the 10-game homestand, and then go to Oakland. Monday, Tuesday night, Wednesday afternoon, they'll fly from Oakland to Seattle, have an off day on the 8th, and then the 9th, 10th, and 11th, they'll take on the Mariners in Seattle. A weekend series in Seattle, and if you're a Blue Jay fan and live in Western Canada, you got to be there because all your friends are going to be there.
Yeah, you better have your tickets too, because it is a Blue Jays heavens out there. Tomorrow night, CC Sabathia for the Yankees versus Marco Estrada.
Game 1 of the 4-game series. Russell Martin is 1 for 2. He extended his hit streak to 6 straight. Marco is throwing the ball very well. He's got a 4-2 record. CC Sabathia for the Yanks at 5-2. Martin hits this one down the right side. Russell homered right inside the right field foul pole on Friday night. Francisco Liriano, he's got a smile on his face because he's going to be activated and pitch on Friday. He'll be up against Michael Pineda, the big right-hander for the Yankees. Pineda's 6-2, Liriano 2-2. Saturday, Joe Biagini and the left-hander Jordan Montgomery. Sunday, Marcus Stroman and Luis Severino. That's the 4-game series against New York. Biagini and Stroman getting an extra day's rest. Too high. 3-2. Chris Coghlan was called out on strikes his last time up. Tim Adelman with 4 strikeouts. He has kept the Blue Jays to just 6 hits, working in the 6th inning.
Russell got a pitch to hit right there. 3-1 fastball. They wanted to go away, and he left it out over the plate, and he just fouled it back. Saying, give me another one of those.
Another 3-2 pitch. Martin strikes out. That's 5 strikeouts for Tim Adelman. Blue Jays go down in order in the 6th. We'll go to the 7th. It's a 3-3 game. Jason Grilli coming on. A 2-run home run in the 1st inning to Joey Votto, and after that he really settled down, pitched a very good ball game. He goes 5 1/3. He allows 4 hits, 3 earned runs. He walked 4, and that elevated his pitch count, but he had a great strikeout game. He struck out 7. That's just 1 off his career high, and he has kept his team within striking distance, and indeed the Blue Jays came back and tied it up on Luke Bailey's 2-run home run.
So now it's up to the bullpen, and Jason Grilli is going to follow Aaron Loup. What a job Loup did to end up the 6th inning, striking out the 2 batters that he faced. Grilli's been throwing the ball much better. Forget about those numbers right now. Just look at what he has done over his last few starts. His fastball's better. His breaking ball's been a lot better. Still averaging over a strikeout per inning. It's the first time the Reds have seen him in this series. He last worked that game against Texas on the 28th.
Over his last 5 outings, Jason Grilli has allowed just 3 hits, and he gets a swing from the catcher Tucker Barnhart. 1 pitch, 1 out. So Grilli has really started to put things together once again. We mentioned hitters are 3 for 17 over his last 5 outings with 5 strikeouts. And he got off to a tough start. He surrendered 2 walk-off home runs to Baltimore this season, and he's going to be a big part of this, and this will be a good opportunity for him to get things turned around. He has thrown well of late.
Yeah, that fastball, that was a pretty good fastball there. In good spot to get the first out.
Jose Peraza, the 2nd baseman, is 1 for 2, had an RBI double in the 2nd, struck out in the 5th. Bunts it. Grilli gets off the mound. Ball had some spin on it, and it bounced away from Jason. Jason broke off the mound in good shape. He was there, but when the ball hit the turf, it kicked away from him. By the time he recovered, it was too late.
And Peraza can really run. We told you he's got 12 stolen bases. This looks like it's right back to the mound, but it actually hits and kicks backwards. the English on that ball, and that's the only thing he can do is barehanded and try and get it over there as quick as possible. This guy can run.
Now he's a threat to steal. He has 12 stolen bases. He's been caught just twice. The Reds had 55 stolen bases. They lead the majors. Grilly's aware of that.
Yes, and now he's going to take his time and really vary his delivery to home plate just to try to mess up the timing of Peraza and give Luke Maile, who's been throwing the ball really well, 4 for 8, throwing out base runners, a chance to get them.
Hamilton shows bunt, and Grilly gets the slider in there. Hamilton has grounded into 2 double plays. He shows bunt and takes one just off the outside corner. Almost has to be a perfect hot shot right to one of the middle infielders.
Yeah, it's almost impossible because he runs so hard. It's got to be like a one hopper to the second baseman and go 4-6-3. Even then, that's no sure thing.
Martin guarding against the bunt at third. Morales holding on Peraza at first. Comes right back with a breaking ball for a strike. 1-2 now.
You know, if you're an infielder here and you get a ground ball, don't even think about turning 2. Just don't get too quick and make sure you get at least 1 out. You start thinking about that speed and hurrying up, you might not get anybody.
There goes the runner. Maile's throw is high, and Peraza is in safely with his 13th steal of the season. Maile got a high pitch from Grilly. Had to reach up for it and really took him out of his rhythm. And when he threw to second, his throw was high to Goins.
And if it was down, he would have been out. He has shown a strong arm. Goins has to go up and get it, and that allows Peraza to get underneath it. Here's the high throw you were talking about. That threw off his timing. And consequently, it's a high throw to second.
2-2 now to Hamilton. Hamilton had an RBI single in the game last night in the 7th inning. He drove in the 4th run, and that tied the game at the time at 4-4. He's only had 2 hits in the 3 games. A bunt single in his first at bat, and that RBI single in the 7th last night. Fly ball. Coughlin, the left fielder, calls for it. 2 away.
The Honda Checkered Flag event is back. Get there fast, leave even faster.
Top of the 7th inning in a 3-3 game. Blue Jays trying to complete the sweep of the Cincinnati Reds. Cincinnati on this road trip. This is the 7th game of the trip. They had 1 game rained out in Cleveland. They are 3-3 so far. They will have an off day before they pick it up again with a game against Atlanta at home. That'll be on Friday. Really, that slider's got a lot of bite to it lately.
You mentioned the numbers that he's had over his last 5 games. He's also had 5 strikeouts in those games. Generally works just an inning, but he's got a lot of bite on that breaking ball.
They have faced each other, Grilly and Cozart. Cozart is 2 for 9 against Jason. The Reds shortstop 1 for 2 this afternoon. He was looking for that slider that time, but it was in a good spot. 0-2. Jose Peraza at second base. Really ahead 0-2, and he strikes him out. Hard fastball. Grilly strands a runner in scoring position to keep it tied. It'll be Coughlin, Goins, and Maile in this 3-3 game.
And CF Toronto Eaton Center are the official team shops for your Toronto Blue Jays. Authentic alternate red caps are available now. Get yours today at select Jays Shop locations or jaysshop.ca. Guys,
thank you very much. Lots of beautiful Blue Jays merchandise in the Jays Shop, so check it out when you come on down and go online. New pitcher for the Reds, the left-hander, Wandy Peralta. The only left-hander the Reds have in their bullpen.
Well, look at those numbers that Peralta has. His whip, 083. He just doesn't walk anybody. He's basically a fastball, sinker, changeup type of pitcher. He'll get his share of strikeouts with it. Great numbers all the way around. This is a very underrated bullpen that the Blue Jays, or excuse me, the Reds are going to throw at the Blue Jays.
Chris Cogman was the scheduled batter that prompted the left-hander. Now it's Kevin Pillar coming off the bench to pinch hit for Cogman. Pillar .278 for the season. Ground ball to short. Cozart has it. One away.
For Peralta, it's basically, hey, here it is. Let's see what you can do with it. He's got good control and get a share of strikeouts. His changeup, he's going to throw that about 30% of the time. That looked like his changeup right there got Pillar out in front.
Ryan Goins has been on base both times he's come to the plate this afternoon. He walked in the second and dropped a beautiful bunt down his last time up. That came in the 5th inning, and that set the table for Luke Maile's home run. 2-run shot that tied it at 3. Kevin Pillar with the pinch hit appearance. Those are infrequent for Pillar. He plays every day. It's his first pinch hit at bat of the season. Hard slider. 1-2 now. Joe Smith starting to loosen up. Votto, Duvall, Suarez, the hitters for the Reds in the 8th. 97. This is a good arm. Luke Maile is on deck.
We haven't seen some of their better relievers because the Blue Jays had the blowout in Game 1.
Goins walks. Again, that sets the table for Luke Bailey. Drive of the game brought to you by Honda, official vehicle of the Blue Jays and proud fan since 1977.
And the last time he was on base, Luke Bailey did this. See ya later. First pitch swinging, fastball over the middle of the plate, and he deposits it over the wall in left field. Home run number 2. That tied up the ball game. That's where we sit right now. That's Luke Bailey and this afternoon's drive of the game.
Goins has been on base all 3 times he's come to the plate. Bailey takes the first pitch and strike. Luke's home run. His 5th career home run. His 2nd home run this season with the Blue Jays. How about his first multi-home run game?
Yeah, that would be really nice.
Fly ball. He got jammed on that one. 2 outs. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Boy, what a lineup they feature now. They have Correa, who homered it his first time up. He's batting 3rd behind an MVP candidate, Jose Altuve, the 2nd baseman. So it's Springer, Altuve, Correa. Today it's Gaddis. Marwin Gonzalez has had a terrific start to his season. They don't even have Beltran in the game today, nor McCann.
A couple of astute free agent signings, Beltran and McCann.
Another fellow they brought in that has been a good addition is Josh Reddick. He's done a nice job. They got a good combination of veteran experience and rookie enthusiasm, and some of those young players are not rookies, of course, but boy, they're good young players. Devin Travis, and there's another throw to first.
He does not have a very big lead. You can see Ryan Goins is basically falling down and falling on the base. They want to let Travis hit here. Devin had his hit streak stopped last night. Looking for his first one here this afternoon.
That streak ended at 13 straight games. That's the longest hit streak for a Blue Jays hitter this season. Ezekiel Carrera had a 12-game streak earlier in the season.
He's not really a threat to steal here. You got to let Devin score. And the reason you let him swing away is we've been talking about his doubles all month long. How many doubles? He can score a hit from first base just as easily.
2-0. Devin has 18 doubles this season. 16 of them have come in May.
Outfielders are a little bit deeper than normal with the go-ahead run at first base.
Pitch is away. Devin is 0 for 3 this afternoon. He's been called out on strikes twice. The Blue Jays had hit 22 home runs in their first 25 games. The Melee home run today, the 48th home run they've hit in their last 28 games. And 48 of those home runs in the month of May. That ties them with Tampa Bay for the most home runs in May.
It ties a Blue Jay team from 3 years ago for the 2nd highest total in the month of May.
High pop-up. That's going to go into the seats. Devin doesn't seem as though he's picking up the baseball like we have seen throughout this month of May. And he has been on everything. It seems as though he's just been off a little bit today.
Kept the ball away from him the last couple of days.
Once again, everything is away in this at bat.
Just on the corner or just off the corner. I mean, those are tough pitches to do anything with.
For some reason, they think Goins is going to run. I'm with you. I don't think they're running him, and Brian Price is giving the signs himself, the manager.
He's 1 for 1 in stolen bases this year, but it's just not the time.
Now he's going to end up at second. That ball went all the way back to the backstop on the fly.
Goins was begging for third base, but it's only one base. When a pitcher delivers a pitch and it's out of play, you only get one base. High, bounces up high and out over the screen and out of play. Now, if he steps off and throws over to first base and throws it into the stands, you get 2 bases.
He becomes an infielder once he disengages from the pitcher's rubber. So Goins now in scoring position for Devin Travis, and this certainly changes Travis's mindset. Base hit now will probably give the Blue Jays the lead.
Yeah, and he knows that they've kept everything away from him the last couple of days, so he can go ahead and look for that ball away. Maybe punch a ball to right field.
Just foul. My, that looked like it hit the chalk line in front of Paul Nart, the first base umpire, but he was standing right there, had a good look at it, and immediately waved it foul.
Ezekiel Carrera, the on-deck circle hitter, thought that that ball was fair. But the Blue Jays are not going to look at it.
That is not a reviewable play, that fair or foul in front of the umpire. Another 3-2 pitch to Travis. High fly ball deep to left field. This ball's going to carry it. Go! 2-run home run for Travis. What an at-bat for Devin Travis.
Late home runs, they are tough to overcome, and the Blue Jays have had their share of late home runs, especially in this series. All 6 of the runs yesterday came via the home run, and that's a big one again by the Blue Jays. And Devin Travis supplies it this time.
Devin Travis fouled off some tough pitches and then gets a pitch in. He hit it high and deep to left, and it carried right on out of here.
Everything was away from Peralta, and then it looked like he tried to spin a breaking ball, and it came back out over the plate.
For some reason, they were preoccupied with Ryan Goins at first, and then the wild pitch put him at second, and that's a cutter that just stayed up. Carrera bounces it to first. That's a fair ball. That'll end the inning, but how about the Blue Jays and their late inning magic? Devin Travis this afternoon, a 2-out, 2-run home run, his 5th of the season, and the Blue Jays have another lead late in the game. 32nd because he doesn't want to see it turn to June.
The way he's been swinging the bat in the month of May, gets a high breaking ball, extends through this one, and breaks the 3-3 tie. The Blue Jays a 5-3 lead. We head to the 8th inning. That means it's Joe Smith time. 27 games this year for Joe. He picked up the win in last night's game. Finished off the 8th inning, came in with a no-outs runner at second base and a tie score. Got out of that one. Blue Jays scored 2 runs. He was the winner in that game.
Ezekiel Carrera started in center field. He moves to left field. Kevin Pillar pinch hit for the left fielder Chris Coughlin. He is back in his familiar center field position. So Smith will work to Votto, Duvall, and Suarez, the middle of the Reds lineup. Joe Smith has been money. He is throwing the ball so well. Gets ahead of Joey Votto with that sinking fastball.
Wow. On top of having pretty good stuff, he's smart. He's jumped ahead of Votto, and this is where Votto really locks it in again with 2 strikes.
Hey, Votto sizing up that outside corner. Okay, if you're going to stay out there, I'm going to have to get to it. Look at Votto's even choked up higher.
Yeah.
It's like 5 inches now. He's up on that bat handle. Says there's that outside corner. I got to get to that outside pitch.
You have to have a long bat to be able to reach that outside pitch when you choke up like that, and that's all he's going to do is just try to punch the ball over there. What the Blue Jays might try here, this is something Joe was thinking about to lefties, instead of sinkers away, maybe I can run that fastball inside and lock him up. That last swing from Votto suggests he's looking for that ball away. Maybe you can slip a fastball by him inside.
There it is. They took a shot in there. They didn't get to call. Maley and Smith are on the same page. Go back in there again.
Yeah. As a hitter, you're thinking, okay, he's going to take his one shot. He did inside.
Smith wanted that slider, and Votto was all over it. Just fouled it back. Maley called for the inside fastball, but Joe Smith said, no, let me try to get this breaking ball to the outside.
Look at the at-bat. Not a lot of movement. Just punching at that ball to keep the at-bat alive.
Fly ball, that's going to slice away from Carrera into the seats. Boy, what a job this bullpen has done this afternoon. Aaron Loop struck out the only 2 he faced, and then Grilly had a good inning. But look at the turnaround for the bullpen from April to May.
Means so much to the Blue Jays. Remember, they started the year, I don't want to say they were in disarray, but they didn't have their closer, Osuna. As soon as Roberto came back, it kind of put everybody back into their regular spots.
Inside fastball, and Votto got a piece of it, but fouls it into Maley's glove. 1 away.
Buy 6 cans of Beauty Tone paint and get the 7th free. Available exclusively at Home Hardware and Building Center locations. Beauty Tone, Canada's color experts.
Great afternoon at Rogers Center. It is Fire Safety Day here at Rogers Center. A lot of kids in attendance and another good crowd for a Wednesday afternoon. There's a fly ball to center off the bat of Adam Duvall. Pillar is there. 2 away. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. Luke Maley with a big home run early in the game. That tied it, and this Travis home run with a man aboard, that broke the tie. 5-3 Blue Jays. 44,058 in attendance. A terrific crowd for a Wednesday afternoon. Smith throwing nothing but strikes. We have talked about this in the past, how Joe Smith, with that unusual delivery, if you throw a lot of quick strikes, you don't give the hitter a lot of information to zero in on your release point.
Yeah, he doesn't really follow any pattern. Meaning, you know, early in the count, he doesn't throw his fastball and then finish everybody off with a breaking ball. He might flip that breaking ball in their first pitch. I mean, it's all about, for Joe, it's about touch and feel and having an idea of what the hitter's trying to do to him.
Drew Storen standing by down in the Reds bullpen. He, of course, pitched with the Blue Jays. He has gone from Blue Jays, Seattle, Cincinnati. Eugenio Suarez. 1 ball, 2 strike count off the plate.
That's what I mean about not falling into any patterns. He can go inside or outside with that fastball. Breaking ball early in the count, breaking ball late in the count. Got Joey Votto trying to talk about his last at bat.
Smith with another strike at the bullpen. Luke, Grilli, and Smith have done a terrific job. We go to the bottom of the 8th, 5-3 Jays. Now time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell with Greg Zahn in the Samsung broadcast studio.
Jays on Sportsnet. Presented by the rugged Honda Pioneer Off-Road family. Your adventure begins here.
Blue Jays have the lead as they're set to bat in the bottom of the 8th, and they will bat against a former teammate, Drew Storen, making his 22nd appearance of the season.
Much better off in Cincinnati. He's telling me the other day he's so happy pitching for the Reds. He's 90 miles from home. He's from Indianapolis, about an hour-and-a-half drive. He says I can get home on off days. Says I'm tricking him right now. I've been dropping my arm angle a little bit at times. Right-hander's hitting just .208 against him.
Drew made 38 appearances for the Blue Jays last season. And then he went out to Seattle, got into 19 more games. Threw the ball well for Seattle. Had a 3-0 record.
He says he's very comfortable. He's throwing to his high school buddy. That's Tucker Barnhart. They played together in high school. Tucker's from Indianapolis also. Says they are on the same page. They've got some synergy working together.
They went to Brownsburg High School, and it's in a suburb of Indianapolis. And Storen went to Stanford and became a first-round pick of the Nationals. They've still been playing together since Little League.
That's right. They work out together in the off season. They're always together, and figure with him catching today, they'd be in the ball game at some point.
Jose Bautista singled his first time up. 3-1. Devin Travis had a 2-run home run with 2 outs in the 7th. That has given the Blue Jays a 5-3 lead. It's significant because it's another 7th inning or later home run. It's a high pop up on the infield. Peraza, the second baseman, makes the catch. 2 home runs this afternoon. That gives the Blue Jays 49. That's one more than the Rays and the Astros. But the home run by Travis, as we mentioned, came in the 7th inning. That's the 26th home run the Blue Jays have hit in the 7th inning or later.
Make them count.
That's the most in the American League. Oakland has hit 24. Texas has hit 24. And the Yankees, who we'll see tomorrow night, they've hit 23 home runs, 7th inning or later.
And you know how tough it is to overcome home runs late. Second most home runs in team history in the month of May.
Well, the significant thing is that the Blue Jays have so many good hitters that those home runs that come in the 7th inning or later against the best pitchers in the bullpen. 7 men in the 8th, closer in the 9th, and boy, when you hit late game home runs, chances are they're going to catapult you to a win. Troy Tulowitzki and Josh Donaldson enjoying a day off, getting set for the 4-game series against the Yankees. Ryan Goins gets the start at shortstop, and all he does is get on base 3 times and scores 2 runs. 2 walks and a single, and he had a bunt single ahead of the Luke Maile home run in the 5th. Gogo's done a terrific job for this ball club.
He's pulling all the right strings and pushing all the right buttons. Getting guys in there, giving some of those guys who are coming back from injury, or if they need an off day, some time off, plugging the guys back in there. He was saying today, hey, they did a good job while those guys were out. So I got to keep them fresh and I got to keep them sharp.
Here's Guccione down at third, calls Morales for the swing, 2 away.
Let the NBA Finals begin. For the 3rd straight year, it's LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers. They will take on Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors. Game 1 goes tomorrow night, 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific on Sportsnet. And partner, I can't wait to watch that series.
You are a big hoops fan, and that should be a terrific series. They have a lot of history, of course. Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Final tonight. Pittsburgh won the first game in the 2nd overtime.
Well, they got some of the best players in the NBA going at it. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Bullpen has been locked down here this afternoon. Luke, Grilly, Smith, and it looks like Osuna for the night. Two balls and a strike on Justin Smoke. Morales had a sac fly RBI in the 1st inning. Bautista had a single in the 1st inning. Blue Jays 5 runs on 7 hits. Luke Maile with his 2nd home run of the season, a 2-run homer in the 5th. That tied the game at 3. And then Devin Travis hit his 5th home run, a 2-run home run in the 7th. That has given the Blue Jays a 5-3 lead. Two-two to Smoke. Devin Travis has had some month of May. after a 1:30 April.
We talked about that in the opening. Gibby kept saying, hey, my guys, I got faith in them. It's just a matter of time before they're going to turn it around offensively. Well, they've gotten healthy. You got a couple guys starting to swing the bats with a little authority, and the Blue Jays are winning ball games.
To give you an idea of how that month for Travis holds up historically in franchise history, the home run is his 20th extra base hit in May. That's tied for the second most by a Blue Jays player in May. Edwin Encarnacion had 22 hits in May in 2014. So Devin's up there with the big boys. Smoke lines out to Joey Votto in fair territory. So Drew Storen retires the side in order in the 8th. We'll go to the 9th. The Blue Jays trying to sweep the Reds. Roberto Osuna will come on looking for his second save of the series.
Pennsylvania, the site of Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Final tonight. The Penguins scratched Carl Hagelin for Game 1. He stayed on the ice late, did extra work, but it doesn't appear as if he'll go for Game 2 tonight, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. Penguins, Predators.
One of the best events in the entire sporting world, the Stanley Cup Finals. Jim Houston and Craig Simpson with the call. Make sure you check it out. Another great matchup. Predators and the Penguins. Here is Roberto Osuna. He picked up his 10th save in the game last night. He's 10 for 13. But he has been a lockdown closer of late. He retired Cozart, Votto, and Duvall in the 9th in last night's game. Right fielder Scott Schebler leads things off and goes after the first pitch and hits it high and deep to right. And this one's going to go. A first pitch home run for Schebler, his 16th of the season. And with one swing of the bat, it's a one-run game.
You and I have been impressed with this young player for the Cincinnati Reds. He's played right field every inning of every game in this series. He has shown off some defensive skills. He's been on base a couple of times today, and he's showing off his power skills. Number 16, RBI number 30, first pitch fastball. And that one's going to make it a one-run game.
Second home run for Cincinnati in this game. Joey Votto hit a first inning two-run home run. The Reds have homered in 12 straight games. And for Schebler, that's his 16th home run.
Says, okay, he can handle that fastball, so I better throw a better one.
Going to be out of play down the right side. Schebler came to the Reds from the Dodgers, and boy, That just proves to you how deep the Dodgers were in outfield talent. They have Puig, of course, Peterson. Now they have Cody Bellinger, and they're just loaded with young players.
Good left-handed hitters. He came over with Peraza also in that 3-team deal.
December 16, 2015, the Dodgers, Reds, and the White Sox. It was a 7-player deal.
Todd Frazier went from the Reds, didn't he, to the White Sox? That turned out to be a pretty good trade for the Reds.
Scooter Gennett, the DH this afternoon. He's 0 for 2 with a walk. Osuna's ahead 1-2. Hard slider. Mike Bolsinger started. He went 5 1/3, gave up 3 earned runs on 4 hits, but struck out 7. And a good job to keep the Blue Jays in this game. And Gennett strikes out.
Just a little bit better slider that time. Got underneath the bat. The one before that in the dirt. This one got a little bit closer. Second time that Scooter Gennett has struck out. It's a good spot for that pitch.
Blue Jays have struck out 13 Reds this afternoon. Aaron Loup struck out the only 2 he faced. Grilli had a strikeout. Smith had 2, go along with those 7 strikeouts that Bolsinger recorded. Now Osuna has a strikeout. Tucker Barnhart, the catcher, 0 for 3. I really like what Luke Maile does behind the plate. He really asserts himself with the conviction he gives the signs with the target, the way he presents it.
Catcher first. Defense. Look at that target that he gave Osuna, down and away.
He's putting his decision on the line and letting everybody know it. Here, I want it here. Throw it here. Present that glove with some conviction. Little flare's going to drop. Barnhart has a 1-out single.
Patrick Kivlahan is going to run for Barnhart. It's a good pitch, a slider down and in. They wanted that one a little bit further down, but Barnhart can get to it. Just loft it over Goins at shortstop. And he will be lifted for the pinch runner.
Kivlahan into pinch run. He does not have a stolen base. Off the end of the bat. Peraza is 2 for 3. Had a bunt single off of Grilli in the 7th. There was a bunt that popped up, had a lot of English on it, bounced away from Grilli. By the time he made the throw to first, it was too late. Oh, and 1. Osuna is so aware of constantly trying to improve himself that he might be a different version of himself every time we see him. There's that slider, and that's been a good pitch for him lately.
He's throwing that a lot today. Maybe he feels like the Reds are on his fastball, or he's changing something up from what we saw yesterday. He's using the slider just a little bit more here the first couple of batters. Now the fastball.
1-2. Ground ball. This should do it. Oh, Goins missed it. A double play ball. He came up on it. It goes into center field, and all hands are safe. You get so used to seeing Goins start those double plays, that ball stayed down and it got underneath his glove, went into center.
Even with the speed of Peraza, that looked like it had a chance to be a double play. It's an in-between hop for Goins. The momentum is taking him to the bag, and the ball just didn't come up. He was in between. Should I catch it and flip it, or should I take it myself? And it went right underneath his glove.
Looked like a tailor-made double play ball that Goins makes 9 times out of 10. So Maile does a nice job going out to the mound. Russell Martin is there to help him out as well. Martin's playing at third base, so there's a lot going on here, a lot of information being exchanged. And Russell Martin looked like he took the lead in that conference.
A lot of options for the Reds. You got some speed at first base now in Peraza. You got a guy who can handle the bat at the plate. Blue Jays are going to go through their defense, first and third defense now. Infield is in. I think this is the right call right here. You're not going to turn a double play against Billy Hamilton.
And he can bunt. Peraza takes off for second. There's strike one. So now Peraza in scoring position. He represents the go-ahead run. Peraza's second stolen base got Schebler. Started the inning on the first pitch. He had a home run over the wall and right. Billy Hamilton behind 0-1. Slider down and in.
It looks like the Reds are playing the contact play. Duvall, the runner at third base, is being very aggressive down there. Russell Martin's trying to juke him back to the bag.
0-2. Fouled off. Boy, you just think that now would be a time to run that fastball upstairs and go for the strikeout.
That brings Morales in. Maybe that's the message.
Morales is so aware of everything that goes on the field. He's a little bit like Troy Tulowitzki in that regard. 0-2 to Hamilton. Got it. Fastball upstairs.
So smart. So smart. You got the hitter looking down, down, down on that breaking ball. Take one shot. Letter high fastball. That's what he gets. And he can't catch up to it.
Well, just think about it. If Hamilton hits it in the air, chances are it's not going to be deep enough to score the runner anyway. But anything down, he beats it on the ground. He's got a chance to beat it out, and they could score a run. So now there are 2 outs. Zack Cozart. He struck out each of his last 2 at bats. Loosening up, Joey Votto is on deck. This is all Osuna in my mind. Oh, and 2. Again, Luke Maile calling a game like a polished, experienced veteran. Tight situation continues to encourage Osuna. Popped tripped him up. That'll be out of play.
That's where Jason Grilli got Zack Cozart last time to end the 7th inning with 2 strikes. Elevated the fastball on him. He's tried it a couple of times now.
$44,058. Urging on Osuna. Checked his swing. Blue Jays won 17-2 on Friday, 6-4 last night. 17-2 on Monday. 2-2 pitch to Cozart. Got it. That's the ball game. Osuna with the save.
What a series for the Blue Jays. They had the blowout, like you mentioned, on Monday. They had the game yesterday where they came back and scored 2 runs in the 8th inning to win that ball game. Then they get 2 runs in the 7th inning on a home run and hang on in the 9th inning to sweep away the Reds. What an afternoon of baseball.
The Blue Jays have done a terrific job, and Osuna strikes out the side in the 9th. The Blue Jays for the afternoon, their bullpen with 8 strikeouts. Ryan Goins can breathe easy after his unusual error. The Blue Jays surpassed their record of a year ago in the month of May. They are now 18-10 in May. 1 more win than they had last May. The Yankees will be here tomorrow night. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. Here's Blue Jays Central.